I volunteered to take over my church's Facebook page, which was inactive. So I created the page. I, started posting regular content, inviting people to events and just sharing some things that were going on. And people started showing up at our church.
No, real quick, for context, how large was this church? Where was this church?
Oh, tiny country church, South Carolina, traditional church, nothing fancy, no smoking and guitars.
Sure.
I mean,
those fancy guitars.
Yeah. Just the kind of place that you don't think of when you think cool church.
Sure.
And yet people started showing up that we had never seen before. And so eventually people started asking, like, why are we having so many visitors all of a sudden?
Why are you here?
Why are you here? Like, where have you been all this time? And actually we had a couple tell us, we were looking for a place to connect and we found you through Facebook and just thought it was really interesting that you were talking about something. At the time we were talking about generational communication, right? And they're like, that was a really interesting idea that we didn't see anywhere else. So we started coming because that was interesting. And then we stayed because the people were really nice.
Yeah. In other areas of our lives, we understand exactly this concept, right?
Yes.
Like if you go to a new city, a new town, and you're looking for food, you open up your phone, you type in Yelp, like you're looking for great vegan restaurants, in this area. And if you're in Portland, you're going to find a bunch of those. But seldomly do you ever go to a restaurant that has 1-star reviews.
No.
And the same thing is true is that when people are looking for a community, for a faith community specifically, they're going to do the same thing. They might not go on Yelp per se, but they're going to go on the internet and check out your Facebook profile, your website, your Instagram. Are you actually doing things? And the things that you're doing, are they doing things that actually matter to me as well?
Yeah. So someone's perception is actually going to be formed by what they find online, not by what you're doing in person.
Yeah.
So
we wish it was about all that we were doing in person, because a lot of churches in this area are doing excellent work. But the reality is in order to get them through the doors, you must be building connections even before they show up.
Yeah. And I think this makes sense to us once we step outside of our own situations. If you thought about, especially if you were looking at another religion, right? If you're looking at your local church of another religion and you're saying, do I want to visit this place? What would you do? Well, you would search for pictures of what was going on. You would try to get to know the people that were there, try to get a feel for what they believe in and what they promote. And if there was no information, very likely
you're just going to go to the next one that actually has information.
You won't go because you don't know what you're going to find. And so we have the opportunity to create kind of a walkthrough of what we care about for people that they can look at from a safe distance.
Now, what I've seen some churches do, because they take this idea and they run with it and they say, oh, copy and paste 28 fundamental beliefs, put it on the website. What are your opinion on that?
No, absolutely not. I think that our beliefs should not be hidden. I think that there should be a way to find that information, but social media is primarily not informational as relational, right? It is social. Social media. Dr. Heather Thompson Day talks about the fact that social media requires us to engage person to person somehow. Because without that, it's just a billboard, right? And how often do I actually go to somewhere that I see the billboard for? Not often.
Sold.
Right. But I will go to a business that builds a relationship with me somehow, or provides an experience that I can take from looking at their content and walk through and say, I believe in that. I want to know more.